A very good afternoon. Thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook for Thursday, the 9th of March. This was the temperature normally across the European continent during December, and of course, it was below average. Then, of course, we had a mixed bag, long spells of mild conditions, but also we had a noteworthy cold spell during the middle portion of January, and that kind of tipped the balance in terms of the average for the overall winter. Close to average, marginally, slightly above average. February, of course, being a very warm month, but this is March so far, and you can see here well below normal across much of Western Europe, and it'll be, of course, very interesting to see what happens. We've got another cold few days coming up. Then we are going to see an Atlantic system. We are seeing a series of Atlantic systems actually trying to attack the cold air that has now been dumped in over the British Isles in the last several days here, achieving some very low temperatures indeed for the time of the year, something we haven't seen in 13 years. Some of these figures coming into the north of Scotland, and we'll look at that in just a second. But certainly it will be interesting to see how the second half of this month pans out, factoring in the major southern stratospheric warming, the effects that we're now seeing, tangible effects of that major southern stratospheric warming now in play. Amber warnings for snow, temperatures into the teens below freezing, a direct consequence of that major southern stratospheric warming, combined with, may I add, the Mann-Julian oscillation, very strong in phase 8 currently, and it is progressing into phase 1. So that, folks, to me would indicate the potential that, albeit a mild surge comes in late weekend and into early next week, the question is, does it come back, the cold? We do have some signals indicating that we start to lose the high latitude blocking, but this here, certainly in the next, 10 days or so, to me, would reiterate the fact that we could maintain a colder theme. But certainly during the heart of winter, we did see the mild phases 3, 4, 5 into 6. And it was during the December cold spell that we were in the same phase that we're in currently with regards to the Mann-Julian oscillation. Of course, as the winter progresses, there is dynamics that change as we progress through a season. Sea surface temperatures obviously cool down surrounding the UK. That has a different response to the atmosphere, of course. But all the while, we're still in the grips of a major cold spell for the time of the year. Temperatures yesterday morning reached minus 15.4 Celsius at Cumbrace. Yes, home to only 55 to 60 people, but it is a very well-known cold spot in the far north of Scotland in the open countryside of Sutherland. We've got snow on the ground, as you can see here from this beautiful satellite image taken from space. Quite an impressive covering of snow, actually. Anywhere from the Grampians, we're kind of in that void, if you will, through the Great Glen. This is my general region right here in Eventon, just north of the Black Isle. We've got patchy snow still actually on the ground, but it's once you get north of the Dornoch Bridge, you run into a fairly decent snow cover. But temperatures with that snow cover, it really does help bring the temperature down, basically refrigerates the lower portion of the atmosphere. So strong incoming solar radiation at this time of the year. That sun fights against that. Temperatures yesterday, minus 2.4 at Altnaharra. I don't know what the high was at Cumbrace, but certainly when you've got that cold base temperature, very dry, clear air in place, that then cools very, very quickly once you lose that sun, and any kind of heat that has tried to come in during the course of the daylight hours quickly escapes back to space. So the temperature yesterday morning was minus 15.4 Cumbrace. This morning we got a fraction colder than that, minus 16.0 at Altnaharra. Now the current temperature as of recording is minus 2.5 at Altnaharra. So that may be the high for today. So another day below freezing. Wick, I believe, was actually recorded a nice day below freezing yesterday. Quite rare, especially the fact that it's right beside the water this time of the year. I think it's decades. I don't know how long exactly, but I believe reading on a reputable source on Twitter that it's been decades since Wick had an ice day during the month of March. So that is quite interesting. And the interesting thing to me would be, how cold does it get tonight? Now, there is some figures being thrown out there and some of the models indicating that minus 15 is possible once again tonight. It really depends on a few factors. Now, we do have, of course, a lot of mess down across England, Wales, Northern Ireland, the Republic. We'll discuss that in just a second. We'll also have a little bit of a front coming down from the north, and it will depend on whether we can hold on to those perfect conditions. Clear skies, light winds will allow the temperatures to really drop once again. I do think definitely double figures below freezing. But if we get a minus 15 again tonight, so that would be 3 straight nights approaching the middle portion of March. Did that even happen in 2010? So, of course, we're talking about the coldest temperatures in March since 2010 with this current episode. Question mark would be, when was the last time we had 3 straight nights below minus 15? Now, it may have happened in March of 2010, I don't know, but certainly it's very, very impressive to be able to achieve those kind of figures and also maintaining a significant cold. Now, March 2013, by the way, was a very cold month, and it would be very difficult to beat March 2013, which actually followed one of the warmest Marches on record in 2012. We're talking about 22 degrees recorded in Scotland. The following March, coldest since 1962. But we maintained the snow cover in March 2013 for 2 weeks in higher parts of the north. So it's just kind of looking at perspective, what's happened before, not forgetting what's happened before, because we don't want to look at this and go, this has never happened before. I think people do run the risk of kind of jumping on board with hype and whatnot. I do strive to keep the balance here on this channel, showing you perspective as well as what's going on. Look at the contrast, however, between the south coast of England, where we're talking about temperatures as high as 12 Celsius. At Newquay, for example, we've got 11 degrees at Yeovilton, and then you go up to the Almondsbury area near Bristol, we're talking 10 Celsius, with a very big contrast actually of 12 versus 2 in this 57-mile stretch earlier on today, which was quite interesting. But of course, we've got temperatures of 0 Celsius, not that far to the north, as you can see here. So quite a big contrast in the temperature across the far south of England. Why is that the case? Well, we've got an area of low pressure that is going to be crossing through the course of today. It is progressing across the heart of the British Isles during the course of today and into tonight. And we've had all sorts of conditions. We've had heavy snowfall. We've also seen heavy rainfall. We're going to increase the wind as well through the course of this evening. And heavy snowfall, areas that have seen snow maybe to start the day, then changed over to sleety rain, then proper rain, may go back to seeing snow once we start to see the temperatures dropping off this evening here. So, of course, there is an amber warning for snowfall over the central swathe of England, really from the North Midlands up through the Greater Manchester area. We've got Wakefield, we've got Leeds, we've got Sheffield, we've got Huddersfield, all the way up towards the A66, where we're going to be seeing heavy persistent snow getting driven in on a 30-40 mile per hour easterly wind. We could see some significant trouble tonight across this region. Also, let's not forget mid and north Wales. There's also an amber warning here for heavy persistent snow. And in the last couple of hours, we've also seen the Met Office put out an amber snow warning for Northern Ireland as well. So really from about Newry up through Lisburn and to Belfast and points maybe just north and west, in an amber warning tonight, heavy persistent snow and also a strong easterly wind here. So treacherous driving conditions is definitely going to be the case if it isn't happening already, may I add. And then as the overnight period progresses, the conditions should start to ease up. So let's have a look at the UK here and look at what the GFS is indicating for the next 24 hours or so. So there's that area of low pressure, a reasonably deep centre at 976 millibars. There's the problem here that we've got that heavy persistent snowfall into this evening across parts of County Down, Antrim, then into the far north of Northern Ireland here, the Republic, sorry. We're seeing a heavy area of snow just in the north of Dublin, as you can see here. Heavy rainfall across the bulk of Wales, if you notice here, during the early portion this evening. We've got heavy rain across London, up as far north as Birmingham and whatnot. But watch what happens as that centre starts to push eastwards. You're then wrapping in the cold air, so we're going to start to bring that snow line back south once again. So Dublin gets in the snow. Then we'll start to see Manchester, down into Birmingham. Like I say, areas that have seen rain, snow to start with, then rain will turn possibly back into snow again through the overnight tonight. It'll be interesting to see what the conditions remain across the far north. Then we've got potential snow moving back into the Greater London area during the overnight tonight. So quite a complex scenario, really, in terms of the snow aspect tonight. We are going to see the freeze level kind of bounce up and down. We have seen that through the course of today. And basically, the moral of the story is that we're going to start to see the snow coming back in the places that have turned to rain during the course of today. Then we've got a feature that comes in. Notice here we've got a band of snow moving from north to south into the course of tomorrow across the far north. Then our eyes turn to what's coming in off the Atlantic. Now, before this boundary moves in, bringing more snow, rain at the coast, but snow inland, we could be talking about a very, very cold night indeed. Now, an area of high pressure kind of settles in over that fresh snow cover. Temperatures, by the way, in parts of the North Midlands, areas that see the heaviest snowfall over the next 12 to 18 hours, could in fact see temperatures minus 10, maybe even as low as minus 14 Celsius in this area early Saturday morning before we see this band of rain move in, bumps in against the cold air. We see snowfall progressing eastwards. But it's actually a system later in the day on Sunday that could present more problems in terms of heavy snowfall across high road routes in Scotland. But there is milder air moving in with this system. The track, the centre of the low, is moving in further north. So therefore, if we look at the 850 temperatures, we are going to see a significant push of warmer air coming in associated with this system. It's once that feature moves through, we do see the cold air coming back in again during the course of next week. And then I think we've got this back and forth, this fight between mild from the southwest and cold from the northeast. So it is a pretty complex situation here in terms of we're not just moving into a mild pattern and then that's it all over and done with. I think we are going to see more cold trying to come into the pattern early next week. So we'll watch this space because we may introduce snow threats yet again with this type of scenario. Looking at the snow depth chart of the model, and you can see here, let's get back to the current setup. We've got, of course, the snow building up North Wales, North Midlands, up through the Peak District, the North York Moors. We are going to see 30, 40 centimetres of snow over the highest ground. Then, as you can see here, these systems moving in off the Atlantic, we'll see more snow coming, especially across the far north of Scotland here. And then as we progress through next week, we've got more chances of seeing snow with the colder air coming back in from the north once again. So an interesting situation, that's for sure. And let's watch this space and see what happens over the next few days. But certainly, we're not out of this just yet, that's for sure. So stay tuned, stay warm. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you again hopefully tomorrow with more. Bye for now.